Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pigeon Tarot podcast. Each week we'll dive into a subject, do some readings, talk about the cards. On this episode, we're going to talk about a little thing that normally draws outsiders into tarot in the first place, and that is love. They want to use tarot as a way to spy on that special someone to figure out, do they love me? People want to know, how does this person feel about me? What do they think about me? Do they regret how they've treated me? Or are they pining away for my attention, just wanting to be with me, Let me tell you though, if you have to come to the cards to ask, then this person probably isn't giving you a second thought. I wish it was more common that we just let people know how we feel, let people know our intentions. But I often find myself repeating to people who aren't so willing to acknowledge that a healthy relationship will start with open communication. If you have to use the cards to communicate their intentions, their feelings, then something is already off about your relationship. So find that person that you can actually have a real conversation with that is able to convey their feelings to you and stop holding on to unrequited love. I keep saying unrequited and people keep asking me what's unrequited. I thought that was something that was just known. Unrequited love is when you're like putting forth all the efforts and intentions and none of that's getting reciprocated. There's a term for it, because it happens. And it's not that true love that you want. Whew. Let me sigh there. As we go down this road, also, may I mention that if you have just met someone yesterday, they are probably not instantaneously falling in love with you. Do they miss you? Are they thinking about you? Do they want to marry you all of a sudden? Let me ask you, has enough time passed and has this connection actually had a chance to develop and grow? Because if there is no connection, there is no attachment, then probably no. They're probably not thinking about you at all. And what about your ex? Okay, what about that ex? Ask yourself, why do you care? Why are you thinking about them? Why did you break up in the first place? Because a breakup is a sign that it's time to move on. Sometimes people get back together, but it doesn't always end well. All right, let's get into some tea. Pick out some common questions that we find ourselves asking about love and see what we can learn from the cards. We're going to start with our let me grab my cards. Hold on. Start with our pool for the collective to help guide us in LOVE. All right, our card is the Three of Cups. Interesting. Let's talk about that Three of Cups. I see a lot of readers, especially, I don't know where this school of thought came from, but I do see a lot of readers refer to the Three of Cups as a cheater card. Like your significant other is out there flirting with all these ladies, having a party in that Three of Cups card. I've never seen it like that because I read more towards what is called the Fool's Journey in Tarot. So the 3 is about expanding ourselves, expanding upon the concepts that we may already be familiar with. So 3 is expansion of emotional connections. We are starting to look out beyond ourselves and try to connect with people that are in our world, in our community. And that's kind of where all these love questions derive from, is that need for us to connect with people that are outside of ourselves, outside of our little familiar family unit. It's a part of our growth and development. It's natural to want to do so. So we got to make sure that we are putting our energy into the right connections so that we can grow very positive, healthy emotional connections. All right. We'll continue on drawing just 3 cards for each question for the sake of time. And because, you might get tired of listening to me rant over here. One card, let's see, our first card we'll have is going to represent our person, the one that we're reading for, their view of this connection, maybe their own feelings. The second card will be the person they want to know about, how that person may view this connection or their influence. And the third card is the connection that we have between us, or they have between them, that may not yet be fully realized. Now, when we are in tarot reading about other people, it's kind of hard to, actually be that psychic and know exactly what they're thinking. So we kind of focus more on general energies. What energy is this person putting off? And sometimes it clicks and you're like, oh yeah, that's them, that's definitely them, I understand that. There are so many repeated concepts in tarot and so much that we are based on our own human personalities, right? So kind of formulating what may be going on behind someone's mind is not as crazy as an endeavor as it may seem. Now we have to rely on the person getting the reading to kind of have some idea of the true intentions of the person. All right, I'm going off kind of there. Remember, tarot cards are not here to tell you exactly what that other person is thinking. When you're going and getting readings and being devastated, we don't fully know until we actually try talking to someone, right? All right, we got our 2 shuffles here. Our first question, and again, I'm changing the names. Our first question is from Dee Dee. They have been on the dating scene for a while and maybe a little bit unfamiliar, or they have been out of the dating scene for a while. I read that wrong. Out of the dating scene for a while. A little bit unfamiliar with the sporadic communication that we often see when we're trying to connect to somebody new, right? How is someone always so busy that they cannot send a simple message to let you know how they are, or just to say, hi, how are you? Are they not interested? Probably so. Even though Dee Dee's date seems very much the social butterfly when they're out in public, when they're not together, the conversation ends. There's no communication. So what is going on? Hello, nowadays, we always have that phone in hand. If you are not replying to a message, and, it's okay not to reply right away. Yeah, you might be busy. But if you're taking days to reply, you're obviously intentionally not trying to communicate with someone. Okay. A little rant there, sorry. Let's focus on Dee Dee, their date. Shuffle once more just in case. We have the Empress in reverse, the Chariot in reverse, the 2 of Swords. All right, sorry. Both those 2 cards, Empress in reverse, Chariot in reverse, things aren't growing, things aren't moving. We don't really need to discuss it beyond that, but we'll go ahead and do that our little play-by-play. So the Empress reverse tied to Dee Dee is our first clue. I think deep down they do feel that something is lacking in this connection and that it's very hard to see anything can grow from this. That is what the Empress reverse is. It's a disconnect. Disconnect from the world around you or the situation. They don't feel it, especially when this person isn't present in their life. We don't really need the cards to tell them that. But sometimes you still need to hear it, Even though you may feel it, you may think it, sometimes you need someone to tell it to you, to really believe it. The cards are telling you it's just not working. The Chariot in reverse, representing the other person on Dee Dee's mind, shows no interest in moving forward, no desire to grow the connection. They're not putting any energy into the connection. Again, they may enjoy the fun time that they're having together, but that's where it ends. No movement forward with that Chariot in reverse. Finally, the Two of Swords. That's just tension. That's just continued stress trying to hold this all together. Imagine Dee Dee is just left there holding these swords, just waiting for the other person to change to give them something. Eventually, they're just going to drop those swords and fall to exhaustion. That's what's happening here. They're just exhausting themselves by trying to make this effort when none of it's being reciprocated. So why do we do that? Why do we hold on so stubbornly to something that we know is not working? Because we want it. We want a connection. We want this connection. We focused in on this person, but you can't force it. So it would be better, less exhausting, to find someone who shows genuine interest, especially when you're not together. That communication shouldn't be stopped because of distance. Again, not when that phone is always right there next to you. Whew. Sorry if I sigh out of each of these. I feel like I kind of go off on a little rant. When it comes to love, it frustrates me so much. I don't like when people play with other people's emotions. All right, next question from Laddie with another very common scenario that I see with tarot. Friends with benefits. Look, don't count on someone who's already getting what they want from the connection without having to put any actual effort, commitment, or be held accountable for the connection. Don't expect them to change. Laddie already knows the situation they find themselves in is not good, but they don't want to give up on the possibility of love blooming from this situation. They want to know if they should move on. Yes, move on. Or if this person may just miraculously fall in love. I'm horrible with sayings, but what's that saying? Why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? Hopefully everyone understands that. All right, our cards. We have the Hierophant in reverse. We have the Ace of Cups in reverse. And we have the King of Cups. King of Swords. I don't know why I said cups. King of Swords. There's no emotions there. Not surprised by all these reversals because, hello, we know they're trying to ignore the truth. We don't want to see it. We want to push it away. The Hierophant, if it's a good connection and the Hierophant comes up upright, I feel like that could be something really strong. Someone who has traditional values, somebody you can commit to. But here we have the Hierophant in reverse in an already bad relationship. This is where we have Laddie almost like worshipping this concept of this connection, putting all their energy that hopefully something will work out. They want to see that all the facts will point to love, and maybe they even they read the signs incorrectly to make it seem like it is pointing to love. And in that, Laddie will be sacrificing their own wants, their own needs, just in hopes that this will turn around, be worth the effort, be true love. But they are sacrificing their own wisdom. They are ignoring the truth of the situation for a chance. Like, betting on the wrong horse is what they say, right? I need to not say these sayings. I'm not good at them. The Ace of Cups will be the other person on Laddie's mind. No intention of deepening this connection. They are intentionally cutting themselves off from their emotional self and aren't really concerned with how Laddie might feel. We are not trying to be very intuitive. We are not trying to be very emotionally connected. We aren't trying to worry about feelings. And then we have the King of Swords as the representation of this connection. This is a king who is not swayed by emotion. This connection was born from a strategic, planned out benefit to be gained with no romance here. We were in it for a specific reason, a specific objective or goal. We've achieved that. So there's no reason to go beyond. This relationship was merely a way to solve a problem of a physical need, and that's what it's done. It's played its part. That sounds cold. That sounds harsh. That doesn't sound like love. So the biggest advice I can give is, if you want a real relationship, if you want commitment, if you want something that is truly long-term, don't put yourself in a situationship to begin with in hopes that that's going to turn out with a happy ending. In the end, you will be the only one that gets hurt, and you may end up also completely closing yourself off from your emotions or from other opportunities, better opportunities in your life. All right. Lastly, we have pathos. Pathos, who feels like this person just has them dangling on the end of a line, trying to keep them attached without offering anything in return. Anytime we deal with love bombing, that's a big sign that something's not right in the relationship. You know, someone who messages you the sweetest love messages all day long, then the next day they may pull away and become completely silent, or if you kind of back away, that's when they reappear to tell you all the things that you needed to hear. That's what you've been waiting for. Oh my gosh. Maybe there's been an argument and they said really horrible things about you. And then they come back and they apologize. They say they never meant it. They always love you. You just, you set them off. It's not your fault. And then it becomes just a cycle that you get stuck in. Those times where things are just arguments and that person is just tearing you down, or they're making up for those moments and surprising you with little gifts and romance. But in the end, they have these promises that they are making for you that they probably aren't following through with. Now, these are scenarios that often come up when it comes to love, and let me tell you, that's not a healthy relationship. That's not healthy love. And you can make excuses, hope for the best, say, oh, those good times were really beautiful. They were worth it, all those good times between the bad times. But in the end, it all hurts. So Pathos here just wants to know if this person, this love-bombing love of theirs, has genuine feelings, or if they're just trying to keep them, on the back burner for when they need love themselves. The 8 of Cups in reverse. The 9 of Cups. Ooh, let's talk about that. And the Ace of Cups in reverse. Look at that. 2 reverses for every reading, 1 upright. And let me tell you, just so you know, if you don't already know who I am at the moment. We are happily engaged, found the love of my life. I come from a horrible, abusive relationship a long time ago that I was in for a long time. And then had some other horrible dating experiences in between. So I do come from a background where I understand what healthy love looks like and unhealthy love looks like. If you're wondering why I'm spouting all this advice off in anger. All right. So Pathos. The 8 of Cups in reverse. And we'll talk about a couple of different interpretations of that 9 of Cups. Because 9 of Cups can be seen as a love bombing card, and I'll discuss that. 8 of Cups in reverse for Pathos, that's when they're just wandering around. They don't know what to do, how to do it, and don't know when it's finally time to just move on. They don't have control over the situation, and they're having difficulties finding direction within its confines. They're just wandering around, not knowing how to navigate the complexities of this situation. They need somebody to tell them, hey, this isn't how it should be. Trust me, this isn't how it should be. When you feel like you have no direction or you don't understand what's going on, you're kind of left in the dark. Let me tell you, this isn't how a relationship should be. Then we have the 9 of Cups. The Nine of Cups can be seen as somebody who is very hospitable, offering up emotions. They can also be seen as someone who is only showing off surface level emotions. We have all our cups presented here, but we don't actually see what's on the inside. We don't see the true depth of these emotions. So again, just making you see the emotions that we want you to see. How I read the Nine of Cups specifically is more about a person realizing that when they provide positive reinforcement, they expect to get positive results. Hello. When we come here showing you love, then we're going to get love back. But in turn, they're not going to provide that constant flow of love back to you. So that's where love bombing comes in. We're showing you that love, but it's not consistent. It's only when we want to show it to you. They know how to use emotions to get to their end goal, whatever that may be. That may be keeping you hanging on. And that's where, Pathos' love is. Nine of Cups, you want it to be a good thing, but in the situation, it could be a very bad thing. Either way, if you look at this, we have two vastly different perspectives of this relationship. One person is lost in that Eight of Cups in reverse. The other person is sitting high and happy with that Nine of Cups. This should be happiness for both ends if this is a good, healthy relationship. Mr. Pathos getting what they want, and Pathos left lost. And then finally we have the Ace of Wands in reverse. And all I can think is that this relationship lacks the potential to grow and thrive, to lead to anything of meaning or value. The wand should be good, passionate, flowing energy, creating something, putting effort into something. But none of that is here. We don't want to see it. That romance, that passion, that love, whatever wands means to you with that Ace of Wands in reverse, it's not moving forward. It's not being shown. We are not trying to create something here. Nothing growing, no relationship thriving. That's what I said. So how can this relationship be successful if we can't even sort out the beginning part of this? And unfortunately, Pathos is the only one that's going to suffer in this situation, because the other person here is happy, or supposedly happy. They're going to act like they're happy. And we'll never know for sure. So, the lesson here is not to be blinded by love and all the bright, shiny things that someone is offering you, presenting to you. If you're left wandering, lost and alone, when you should be sharing in that joy, then this is not a healthy place for you to stay in. Don't give up your needs, your desires, your happiness for someone else, especially if you're doing everything to make them happy and make sure that they are in that Nine of Cups position. So understand when it is better for you, healthier for you to walk away. And we can go down so many paths when it comes to love, and we will continue to dive into the subject matter throughout the podcast, maybe even in a more positive way. But through all of these, I want people to start to understand what healthy relationships look like, what unhealthy relationships are. It's easy to get lost in these codependent cycles where your emotions are completely attached to this other person's emotions. But I think it really starts with the value that you place in yourself. You have to value yourself and realize that you do deserve happiness, and it shouldn't all rely on whether your partner is happy or not. So, I hope you have enjoyed listening to this episode and maybe thinking about your own relationships and connections in your life. If you'd like to get a reading, make sure you're following me on any of my other platforms for a chance to submit your questions. The Pigeon Tarot's on YouTube, on Twitch, on Tumblr, Blue Sky, Instagram. The Pigeon Tarot, all one word. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that we can continue to explore tarot together.